Howdy, partner.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not too much. Getting ready to watch Sunday Night Football. How about you?
Same here watching the Yankees game.
Oh, boo. Hopefully they lose.
I'm hoping
One
they're
loss and they're out, right?
yeah, one more loss.
Nice, nice.
But if they win tonight, they go back to New York.
So let's hope
Okay.
they lose.
Yeah.
Um, Love to see that out. It's been a
hmm
weird playoffs I've seen. I've seen like pretty much all the really good teams have lost, and all the teams that are like mid 90s wins that just squeaked in are just dominating.
Yeah, it's going to show what like the you can't just like buy runs and stuff like that. You have to you have to put together a complete team, and I think we've seen like what, three games go over like 14 innings or something. It's about like having the back end bullpen guys do their job and stuff like that. And like the Dodgers and the Braves didn't get it done.
Yeah, I mean a lot of it's also like as you think about it, just kind of like getting hot. Like the Nationals a couple of years ago, like weren't very good. They just got hot at the right times.
Yeah, they won the wild card game on an error,
Yeah,
right?
and then
And
they just went on a
then
run.
yeah,
And it's just like a lot of it doesn't really make sense. That's why it's like so much you just need to make the playoffs because once you get into the playoffs, like you never know when a guy like an ace pitcher can just like just have a bad day, like have an off night,
mhm.
or a guy gets into a little bit of a slump just right in the middle of an ALCS, like a bit like your best hitter. So it's just like just making the playoffs and then just hoping for um and just hoping to win a title is kind of your best odds because a lot of times it's not the best team that wins, especially now that there's so many teams that like have an opportunity for the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Um, so the Celtics, I think we only have one game. We only
I
have
was about
one.
to ask. Yeah, I thought it was just one.
Yeah. That's something I can think of. We had the Toronto game,
Mhm.
which Coach Mazzulla said that was gonna be most like an regular season NBA game as far as I think minutes wise and like rotation.
Mhm.
And some interesting things to note. So it seems like our first, I would say, eight guys in the rotation are pretty locked in at this point, where it's going to be Tatum, Horford, Smart, White, Brown, Grant, Sam Hauser, Malcolm Brogdon, and of course when there's prior to Rob coming back, and then I think the last spot is going to be between Blake Griffin, Noah Vonleh, and I think probably Luke Cornett as we go big. We saw Pritchard, he did play 17 minutes last night, but a lot of that was due to Malcolm Brogdon going out with injury.
Yeah.
And Derek White fouled out, I believe, in the fourth quarter of that game. So a lot of those, he didn't play it all in the first half. So I think that was a pretty telltale sign that he doesn't really look to be a part of the regular rotation for this team,
Which
which
is
is tough.
unfortunate.
But we
Yeah.
also kind of expected that. We were just looking at how the minutes are spread out because unless they want to go real small, and they already are much smaller than last year. I think they played Grant most of the backups, like pretty much all the backup center minutes,
Yeah.
which is already much smaller than we saw them go at pretty much any time last year, where usually it was a combination of two typical centers or a center and power forward as opposed to having a guy that's traditionally a power forward.
Yeah. I think that Grant played pretty well, but he's going to have to be that backup big. As you pointed out, that's the he's going to have to be the guy because with Rob out, it's going to be slow, a trudging along with the bigs. I don't think Vonleh, Blake, or Cornette are really going to have much of an impact to start the season. They're going to get spot minutes like they got today. I mean, not today. What, 2 days ago? Was it
I
Thursday?
think it's Friday night.
Friday night?
I don't
Yeah,
know, maybe Thursday, Friday. I don't feel so. My days get all messed up.
same here. Yeah, but yeah, he's gonna have to be that backup center. Um, uh, I'll look decent. I don't. Let me pull up the box score. Um, did did you? How much of the game did you watch?
I was able to watch most of it. Also, yeah, mentioning Grant, the shoe explosion.
That was pretty neat.
That was something I feel like I haven't seen since Zion did it to
Yeah,
incredible athletes. That's how that happened.
top
Um,
two pinnacle of their sport.
and obviously it was a preseason game. I know this is a preseason game, but Tatum getting ejected with two technicals was very strange. Like I get to the
Definitely.
refs, it's like their warm up too, but at the same time, why is my thing working? At the same time, just very strange seeing ejection during a preseason game.
Yeah, it was weird, and he just said pshaw, and that was his ejection.
Yeah. Um, and then we had three technical. That was right near the end of the fourth there. Yeah, so not ideal to end the
Not a,
game. It was just very, very odd preseason game. There's also like a slippery spot, a couple of slippery spots on the floor.
yeah,
Um,
seriously.
they were into issues with. So it was just a very odd game. I don't really care, obviously, that we didn't get the win there. But
No,
um
but it does have the same sort of flavor as the beginning of the season last year, don't you think? Like, come out of the gates hot. I mean, what did Jaylen Brown started? What, like 5 of 6?
yeah, Jaylen Brown's been great this whole preseason. I think I saw that he's second in points scored this preseason out of
Okay.
anyone in the NBA.
Yeah,
Um I sort of agree with you, but at the same time, it's like it was a very weird game where it's like I don't think in an actual game that matters. I don't think Tatum's getting ejected there.
no,
Um, I think, and they pretty much said that if it was a regular season game, Brogdon would have been good to go. It was just like with the court conditions and that's preseason, they weren't gonna really test it too much.
yeah.
But I think this team's gonna take a little bit of time to really find their identity. I don't think we'll get off to like a blazing start, but I do think this team is gonna be very good. Like especially like once Rob comes back. I know I've been saying that a
Yeah.
lot, but like just Malcolm Brogdon, what he adds to this team is like so much of what we were missing last year. Like I feel we're gonna be a very complete offensive team. Kind of unlike what we were
And
last
better
year. What'd you say?
and better defensively. Like the thing, something that stands out to me from the box score, Pritchard was -11, 0 for 5 shooting, 0 for 4 from three. Pritchard had an awesome look at the like to win it, right?
Yeah, he had a chance.
And
To,
didn't.
I
Yeah.
believe tie it, right? Because they lost by 3.
No, but it was to go up by maybe. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say? But yeah, either way, I think you're right in some respects with the obviously it's with a lot is contingent on Rob coming back like pretty much at 100%.
Yeah.
This team does have a lot of defensive upside because you're placing a lot of those Peyton Pritchard minutes. Where as good as Pritchard can be individually defensively, he obviously has so many shortcomings just being as small as he is. Where you're placing with a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, who's 6'5".
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna have big size all around, and just the way our defense is set up, it's gonna be a long night for a lot of teams opposing guards. Because I mean, Brogdon's gonna be the third best, I think, defensive like point guard that we have in our rotation behind Derek White and Marcus Smart. Like those guys, Marcus Smart, obviously reigning defensive player of the year, and Derek White was a guy that I think received multiple all defense votes this past year. So I
Yeah.
mean, we have two great defenders to go alongside Malcolm Brogdon. I think is a plus defender.
For
Um,
sure.
and there's just gonna be no let up for most teams opposing guards.
Yeah. Regardless of who's on ball and off ball and things like that. And then your off ball defenders are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Grant Williams and Al Horford.
Yeah, I know. We don't really have a bad defender in the rotation. Like once we get Rob back, obviously Blake's not going to be a really a plus defender. Um,
He
and
does bring a lot. He does bring a different sort of defensive like ability.
he's at least like somewhat switchable, which is nice. Like he's still obviously not as quick as he once was, but he can still switch on to guys and do an
Mhm.
okay job if he gets switched on to like wings. Um, ooh, Sam Hauser, not really a great defender, and he looks to be part of this regular rotation. It seems like Mazzulla really likes him.
Mhm.
Um, but one more thing with Grant.
He's not there to play defense.
No, he's there to help space the floor. Provides enough size where he's not gonna be horrible defensively though, and he's athletic enough. Like he's gonna be fine. Um, one more thing with Grant, I believe the deadline for him to get an extension is like tomorrow afternoon.
I think you're right.
So
Yeah.
just something to watch for that. I just saw Brandon Clark got 4 for 52. I saw
Mhm.
Keith Smith tweet that he believes that's going to be like similar, but probably a little less than what Grant gets. So I think he's probably predicting like 4 for 60 or so
Yeah.
for Grant, which, or maybe 3 for 45, something along that, like $15 million average annual value, which I don't think would be too
Mhm.
bad for Grant. Makes me a little bit nervous because like I do like Grant, but I don't know. I just hope that he continues to improve as he has these past couple of years.
Right. And to give out that, I mean, I know in NBA money,
Yeah.
it's not a huge deal, but it does sort of hamstring the team going forward, especially with their quest to get out of the luxury tax.
Yeah. And the Celtics really have been known to kind of let these guys go to free agency and then work a deal with them.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that a lot. I think the only guys, I mean, I think even did Jalen even get a chance to go to restricted and they signed him that deal and restricted, or did they signed him before the season?
No, I think it was before, I think it was the season before the deadline, he got
So I know Smart, they let him like go into restricted and then they signed him to a contract. Um,
what I've seen over the in the Danny Ainge era, there's only three guys with like in the same sort of idea, and two of them went to restricted, Marcus and Avery Bradley.
Really, I thought it was much more than that. I thought he was one of those guys that let him wait, but I think Tatum was. I always thought it was like flipped, where like Tatum and Rob were like the only two guys he didn't let go to restricted.
I don't. I'm not totally sure. I just hold on. Let me.
Because there's really no harm. Like obviously, if it's a star player, like you've seen with DeAndre Ayton, obviously there's issues, but at the same time, it's like I get it if I'm a team and if I'm a player, it's like, okay, well, if you're talking to Grant Williams, like if you think you can get $20 million in the open market, like go ahead. We think you're very valuable. We'd love to have you for 13, 14 million a year. If you can get that, if it's somewhere close, we're going to be able to match it. I don't think you'd be really too offended by a guy that's like a non-star player like that. I think they both understand. And I think they would tell the player as much as they want him. It's like if you can get a huge bag, if you can have a team paying $5 million more a year for your talents, and you'd be dumb to turn that down. But I think Keith Smith also pointed out that like 13 million and like that range is going to be like an MLE in a couple of years based on the way the cap's jumping. So it really probably won't be a huge deal.
No. Um. No, you're right, but you and then you're also right, hoping that the progression grants ability to be a sixth or seventh man on this caliber of team. If he can score the basketball like he did, shoot like he did last year, and play defense on the best wing or best big on your team, that's got to be the reason why they didn't go out and get this deal done.
Yeah. Because I think with him, if he like just plays as well as he did last season, which was great, like I think 15 million might be a little bit of an overpay for that. But if
Yeah.
he just adds a little bit more to his game, which it looks like he's trying, like it looks like he's been able to do a little bit more off the dribble. Looks like that's
Yeah.
something he's really worked on. So if he's able to do that, I think that would be a great deal. And I get trying to lock up your future long term. And I know in the past we've always complained because we've never had those like mid-teens contracts, because those are like the easiest ones to trade because you can
Yeah.
trade them with guys that are small money, or you can kind of mix them with another contract and acquire a big money guy if you need to like attach picks or something like that. So, but just something to look out for. We'll
Definitely.
probably tomorrow at some point though.
It's probably not going to happen. He'll probably go to restricted.
Yeah, which is whatever. It's not the end of the world. Like we said, like I'm unsure about Jalen, but I know Marcus Smart and I know a few others. They've taken the restricted and just re-signed him there. So it's not like them not re-signing Grant means like Grant's not gonna be on the team next year.
Right.
Right. Do you have any more Celtics stuff? We open up the season Tuesday against
Tuesday.
Philadelphia. I know it
Yeah,
snuck right up on us. Then we get Miami on Thursday or Friday. Friday.
Friday.
Trying to do the
Um,
dates in my head, and then Orlando on Saturday. So back to back, second and third game of the season.
Great. Um, I know this is unplanned, but do you want to do like do you want to do some like league predictions or something?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can go a little bit into it. I think we've seen enough of the picture of the league, um, of what we can expect. What did you want to do? Just like where you think each team's going to finish. I think we kind of talked about it briefly a few weeks ago, but where we kind of expect the range of some teams to be.
Yeah, we talked about that on the day that Bill Russell died, right?
Not 100%, but I do remember us talking about it. I wasn't sure exactly which podcast we did it on.
What I was thinking is like maybe we could just throw out some like the top four of each, the East and the West, and maybe like a dark horse MVP, like, and we could try to pick rookie of the year. Maybe a playoff team from last year that won't make the playoffs this year, something like along those lines.
Okay. I think that the last one's easy. I think the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Maybe not the Utah Jazz though.
Oh, that's not
Um,
fair. You're handcuffing me now.
yeah, right. Let's start with rookie of the year. Who do you think it will be?
Um, I hate to go with like the chalky pick, but why am I blanking? Paolo Banchero. Um,
Yeah,
like I just thought he was gonna be the most ready player. Like I know a lot of people were saying Jabari Smith first overall, but I just thought that no matter if he winds up being the better player, I thought Paulo just like he seems more NBA ready than Jabari Smith.
definitely.
So I would have to lean him. I know it's like chalk, and I feel like we talked about this last year, where it's like, oh, I hate just going with the number one pick, but I feel like most of the time it's gonna be the best, like most ready NBA player. There's very few times where it's gonna be a guy that's more of an upside pick at number one.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I think that's a safe bet. The only other guy that I don't think Jabari Smith is NBA ready. I I don't know. The only other guy I'm thinking is Keegan Murray,
Yeah, where'd he wind up?
Sacramento, and he had one of the better summer leagues preseasons. He played really well during the summer league. I think I don't know, he like averaged like 28, 18, 19, 20 points a game, could stroke it from three, good rebounder, quick. He was my pick moving forward when the dynasty basketball guys did our rookie draft. He was my pick for rookie of the year at that point.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy, he's a scorer, and that always helps. Like rookie of the year, like guy can go and get buckets. A
Yeah.
lot of times, like if you're not putting up big numbers, it's really hard to kind of pull yourself away from the competition. We saw last year where I think Mobley was a better player, but their numbers were very, very similar across the board, he and Barnes. And it
Yeah.
was really hard for him to stand out. So I don't know, a guy that could put up some numbers in bunches in the bad pick. Hopefully just gets the opportunity in Sacramento. I know they have quite a few guys there and they want to be a competitive team,
Yeah.
but I don't mind that. I think that's definitely more of a sleeper pick. I like that a lot better than mine.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. So now so what do you want to do next? Do you want to go first four in each conference?
Yeah, let's do that. Starting with the West.
Starting with the West. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Denver.
Number one.
Yeah. Are both their guys back healthy?
I don't know if Jamal is completely healthy, but close enough to it, I would say.
I wanted to say LA first, but then I was like, I just don't know what LA is gonna be. So I'll have LA number two, the Clippers, not the Lakers. Lakers suck. Um, Golden State 3.
Yeah, I'm
and-
writing this down.
Okay, you're writing it down. Golden State 3, because I just don't think they care enough to get the number 1 seed, but they're just gonna be good enough where they're gonna be able to still get one of those home court and one of those top seeds.
Yeah.
And then number 4, I think Minnesota.
Interesting.
Where I just think the Rudy Gobert effect, they're going to be a really, really good regular season team. Their defense is going to improve a whole lot. I know they've had some kinks this preseason with how their team's been looking with Cat and Gobert on the court at the same time. But
Yeah.
I just think that Gobert is such a floor raiser. I think they're going to be a really good regular season team. And I think they'll probably wind up losing to like Phoenix or Dallas if they play them in the first round of the playoffs. So
Yeah.
or Memphis, one of those teams where I think they're going to be right knocking on the door.
Okay. I don't mind that. I had Minnesota as 4th too. It just going quickly through my brain here. So I would do Clippers, Golden State 1 and 2. 3, probably the Suns. And then Minnesota 4.
My Suns is in the bad one. There's just so much going on with them. It feels like it seems like so many of their players are unhappy. That's just I feel nervous about it because I mean, in theory, they pretty much have all their big guys back.
Yeah.
But it's just like I know Jay Crowder wants out. Obviously, DeAndre Ayton didn't really like how they handled the situation.
Right.
So that's just an interesting one. We'll see if there's some implosion there, but definitely a very talented team.
Yeah, they're talented, but I think this is going to be Chris Paul's last couple seasons. I think he really goes all out for it this year. I think he snaps Devin Booker into shape. I don't think Devin Booker is as good as we're all giving him credit for, but I think he is good enough to play with Chris Paul and Ayton. And like we've obviously seen them best record in the NBA last year, correct?
Who, the Suns?
Yeah, or the 1 seed in the West at least.
Yeah, I think it would have had the best record.
Yeah, I think you're right. But
Sure, we'll go with it.
Yeah, and I think Chris Paul's going to be wrapping it up here soon, and gonna put on a pretty, at least put forward a decent shot at being one of the better teams in the NBA, trying to get shake together.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna have much control over that. It feels like he's had injuries issues, and it feels like it's not getting any better with how as he continues to get older. But I mean, I feel like Chris Paul, like similar to what I said about like Gobert, it's like a floor raiser, and he really helps like your regular season teams. Feels like Chris Paul is rarely on a bad regular season team. It's just when it gets to playoffs, that's when it usually falls apart for him.
Mm-hmm.
So now you want to do the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the East, I think Philly's gonna be the number 1 seed. I think they're gonna be hard for that number 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joel Embiid probably gonna win MVP this year. I just think that they have a really good team. I think Embiid's the last like 4 or 5 years has been very upset that he hasn't won an MVP.
Right.
So I think he's gonna put a good season together, get the 1 seed. I think we're gonna see Cleveland number 2. I think Cleveland is going to be a team that's going to really go hard in the regular season. They got a bunch of young guys. Obviously, the addition of Donovan Mitchell. I don't think they're really going to have what it takes to make it past the second round of playoffs, but I do think they're going to be a good regular season team. Third, I do think it's going to be Boston. I think it might take them a little while to mesh, but I do think this team is ultimately extremely talented. And 4th, I have Milwaukee. Similar to Golden State, I really couldn't decide whether I want to put them or Boston 3-4, but I think both us and Milwaukee aren't going to prioritize the regular season a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we both those teams know that the talent level is good enough where they can compete for a championship. And if they get into a playoff matchup, they can beat anyone they face. So it really seeding doesn't matter a whole lot.
Okay, I like your thinking there. I think it's basically down to Giannis and Embiid for MVP this season. I know I have a dark horse, but it's down to those two guys, and that uh I think Milwaukee's going to be the 1 seed. Um, I think they're pretty pissed off about losing to the Celtics last year, and I think Middleton's going to play like another All Star. He's going to have another All Star level year. Drew Holiday is going to continue doing what he does, and Giannis is going to be again top two MVP candidate. So I think Milwaukee's first. I think Boston's second. I just think that they're the best team in the NBA and the deepest outside of maybe Golden State. But I think it'll be hard, especially if Jaylen Brown keeps playing the way he is. Hard for them not to end up second. And then third, I have Philly for all the things you said. Embiid's gonna, be top two MVP guy again this year. And then fourth, I would probably go Miami, but I do like your thinking on Cleveland, so I'll do that.
Yeah. One more thing, kind of why didn't I have Miami in there? Like, I do think the swinging of PJ Tucker, even though like on both teams, he's not gonna be like a top 5 player on your team. I just
Yeah.
think like he's a winner. One, he's a winner, and like two, he can fill a lot of spots. Like if you have guys missing and during the regular season, like that's especially huge. Because like
Mhm.
he's gonna be able to play some backup center minutes for Philly. He's gonna be able to play at
Yeah.
the 4 alongside Embiid, be able to space court with corner threes. Like I just think he fits really well on Philly's team. He's really gonna help them as a regular season team. I think it just hurts the depth of Miami because it's pretty much like they didn't really get anyone new this year. All they did was lose PJ Tucker, which I think obviously hurts them a little bit. Um, I don't know. But Butler, I don't know if he can continue improving. It seems like that team has kind of stalled out a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean I hate that team, but they're still gonna win games.
Yeah, that's what I think they're gonna be probably like a 5 seed. I don't think they're gonna be far from it. Um 5, 6, depending on if the Nets are actually good or not. And
Yeah.
that's one where it's like the Nets could easily be a top 4 seed, but I just don't trust them enough.
Yeah. I hear you. No, I agree. Um I don't trust either of those teams. No, I mean Miami or Brooklyn at all. Um okay, so a team to make the playoffs that wasn't in the playoffs last year could be either conference.
Um, what team do I really like their additions they had last year? Atlanta was technically in as the 8 seed, right? Are you kind of like not making the play in? I know they like slid in, right? They won.
Yeah.
Gotta look.
They
So are
were
you counting playing teams or no?
sure we'll count those as missing the playoffs. Like
Okay, so if you were playing but didn't make the actual like final 8 teams,
yeah.
yeah, because Atlanta's the team I thought got a lot better, but obviously, um,
Yeah.
that doesn't really work. I'm trying to think about teams that made big improvements. I'm just gonna try and eliminate some teams. So I know that the Spurs aren't gonna make it.
Yep.
I don't believe that the Magic are there yet. Um,
Yep. You're right. They're not.
so I think my choice is gonna be Sacramento.
Sacramento's my pick too.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with is Sacramento. I was trying to like do it in my head. It seems like a lot of teams out west are probably gonna try and tank. And it
Hmm.
seems like, but then also I don't know who falls out of this playoffs from last year. New Orleans was the 8 seed last year and they got Zion. Like I don't
There,
know who.
there's going to be one team that drops a stinker.
Oh, Utah is obviously gonna fall out. Okay, so yeah. Never mind. I was just looking over Utah. Yeah, so I think they could Sacramento could take that Utah spot.
Uh-huh.
It's both of it, because I would even say that even in the East, like I think the Nets are still gonna make the playoffs. I don't think Chicago is gonna get that much worse. I mean, you could say Cleveland. Cleveland would be the obvious one for me, I guess, that
Yeah,
because they didn't make it. They were like the 7th seed all year, and they went 2-0 in the playing games.
right.
I
Um,
guess looking at that, I'd probably lean Cleveland over Sacramento, but I think those are probably the two teams that are gonna make the playoffs that didn't make it last year.
I think I think that the Bulls are going to be bad. Um, Lonzo has no definite return table. Um, they're banking on DeMar DeRozan to play at a all NBA caliber again for an entire season at what age 33? How
Yeah.
old's DeRozan?
Yeah, that's what I was penciling in for the team to miss it. Because I looked
Yeah,
at
that's
Brooklyn. I was like, I think Brooklyn's in. I think Toronto stays in. I think Miami stays, obviously.
yeah.
And I was like, Chicago's probably the one that's going to slide out. And I think Cleveland's going to slide in somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of agree. Vucevic, he's getting older. Like, he didn't really look that great a lot of last year. Um,
33 too.
yeah, Vucevic, I feel like I always think he's older than he actually is. My mind, he was like mid-30s, but just because he's slow.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think the Bulls they have a lot of their core is starting to kind of age out of their prime.
Mhm.
Although Patrick Williams should be back this year, but I don't know how much of an impact he's gonna make on like overall winning and losing. So yeah, I think the
Yeah.
Bulls are probably the team that slides out a little bit. They'll probably be a 9-10 seed. And I think Cleveland's the team that slides in the East.
Okay. Well, that didn't go as I expected because we both had the same teams.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of tough. It just like that's the one that just makes the most sense.
Yeah, I mean,
We
I
just both
could
have great
go.
opinions. I
Yeah,
don't
absolutely. We're just two smart fellas.
Two fat smellers.
Exactly. Okay, so we have the same picks there. How about a dark horse MVP candidate?
A dark horse MVP candidate. Um, just based on what I said, I'd probably say Donovan Mitchell,
Okay.
because I don't know how dark horse that is, but just like if they do want to be in that 2 seed and he's their leading scorer, averaging like 25 a game with like 5 assists. Like I
Hmm.
think a lot of people could possibly lean him MVP. Obviously, he's not my favorite, but I do think that there's opportunity for him if Cleveland is as good as I think they might be.
Yeah, I think he's a good pick. Um, I mean, he was the lead guy in Utah, but now he's surrounded by a more sort of diverse cast of teammates, some younger fellows out there, um, and just a sort of different role, you know.
Yeah, 'cause I do think some people did have that debate on who's the better player between he and Gobert. And I feel like that might not be as much of a case in Cleveland. Like I know obviously Garland, Mobley and Jared Allen are very talented guys, but maybe they're not seeing that same light. They're not guys that have been perennial all-stars, perennial all NBA guys like Gobert was. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, a lot of it is narrative driven. So maybe the narrative helps him. Like Cleveland will be a more fun upstart team that people like rooting for.
right. Yeah, we'll see. I think that's a decent pick. Mine is fuck. Oh, Anthony Edwards. I think
Yeah.
if Minnesota is like a top three team and Anthony Edwards is out there scoring 26, 27 points a game, he can be the MVP.
Yeah. Cause as much as we've liked to like, and we've kind of talked about get Cat, like we thought he was gonna be kind of the guy. He was the guy that's he made an all NBA team, what, like his second or third year in the league?
Yeah.
Or yeah. But it just seems
Multiple.
like Anthony Edward is the guy that's gonna be the star. Like he just has that star vibe to him more than Cat does.
Yeah.
And I do think that, like you said, like same reasoning with Donovan Mitchell, they're gonna be a team that's gonna kind of be a team that really hasn't had this past success, and all of a sudden they're gonna be a very successful team near the top of the division. Yeah, this fun young upstart guy that I think a lot of people are gonna want to root for. I think
Right.
that's a great pick.
I think he's going to be like John Morant last year. Like
Yeah.
the that is the most fun player to watch every single night that he plays. Like, and if Memphis was a higher seed last year, and if Embiid and Jokic didn't play at the insane level that they played last year, he would have been a top 2, 3 MVP guy.
Yeah. It's
So
all
I
about
think,
the year. I mean, it's just
yeah,
a lot of it's luck, just like lucking into a year where there's a lot of comp, luck into a year there's not really any competition for MVP, or if
yeah,
there's like narratives that get stale with certain players, like it helps. It's weird.
right. And so maybe, and if that's the case this year moving forward, then Anthony Edwards has a decent shot at it. I mean, like the guys that are always on Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, shit like that. It's always going to be on these things, and those are the guys that normally win. That normally win MVP. The guys with publicity, with a little bit of razzle dazzle, fan favorites, things like that.
Yeah. So did you have any other predictions you wanted to try to go for?
Let's predict the record, Celtics record, and then that'll be
Celtics record.
yeah.
I think they finish 50-32.
50-32.
Last
Okay.
year they finished 51-31 for reference.
Mm-hmm.
They're the number 2 seed. So I said they were going to be the 3 seed this year. So I was like, I think they'll finish right about the same.
Okay, yeah, I think they go 54-28.
Okay.
As the 2 seed. I think Milwaukee has a chance to win 60 games. I think Philly has a chance to win 60 games. I think the Celtics have a chance to win 60 games, but I think 54 is pretty decent. That's what I'm thinking. I think 30 wins is, 30 losses is the most that could happen.
Yeah, so you think at worst they're 52-30?
Yeah.
I just think it might take them a little slow start to get ready, start the season. I think they're gonna kind of take it easy at times. I think it's getting Rob in there, get Rob back to 100% might take a little bit. So I'm just being a little kind of cautious of my prediction. I just think it might take them a little while. And like 50 wins is by no means.
Yeah, it's not chump change. It's not easy to do. But
no, so I get that. I understand they easily have the talent to do that. I just think they might not go as hard as they went last year. I think Udoka was also a guy that played Tatum and Brown really heavy minutes.
yeah.
And I don't know if Mazzulla is going to be the guy. I think he's going to probably go with a more typical rotation, and that will probably lead to more losses. Like you don't have your star players playing quite as much during games, and so that means you probably lose some of the close games you might have won if they were playing 40 as opposed to 36 minutes a game or 35 minutes a game.
Okay, fair enough.
But,
I can get behind that too.
Your fantasy team Dynasty kind of sucked eggs this week, didn't it?
Yeah, I traded everybody.
Yeah, you lost to me. That's always a great sign.
Yeah, not great.
I'm winning it all just with my squad. I trust my boys.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one I lost because my players stopped scoring points, which is never good.
Yeah, last week I beat you by 0.82, right?
That was bullshit. Yeah, 0.08. You mean by
0.0? Yeah, 0.08.
That was bullshit. That was because I literally was like, oh, as long as Travis Kelce doesn't score 33.6, I'll win.
Right.
And he scored exactly 33.6. Because even if he scored 33.5, I would have won by like 2/10 or 2/100ths of a point.
Yeah.
So that was kind of bullshit.
That was, and it kept me at 5-0, and I'm gonna be 6-0 now.
Yeah, now I'm gonna drop to 3-3 in that league, and I'm gonna have the most points scored, which is cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
You have the most points scored by like a lot.
About like 20 right now over Skylar. So as long as I'm projected to score 131, and how much and Skylar's projected to score 117. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep that. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the number one point scorer in the league and be 3-3, which is sick.
That is sick,
Bad.
man.
So that's cool. My Bills won.
Yep, that was a fun game to watch.
Last minute touchdown by Josh Allen to Dawson Knox. That was nice to see.
Mhm.
And then the only other thing I really have going on, I watched Halloween Ends. It's October, so I'm trying to get all my scary movies in. That was
Sure.
horrible.
I could imagine.
The
It's
new Halloween, dude, but it's like it's not even like bad like you think it's bad. Like it's not just Michael Myers just running around killing him with like no plot whatsoever. Like that's bearable. Like that's what you kind of go in for. Like just try to get scared.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it
what
wasn't.
slash is about.
It wasn't scary. Like they just like had this whole like side plot, and in the very end they just try to bring it back to like Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this just didn't make any sense. I wasn't scared at all. This was just really stupid. Like,
Mhm.
just like, and Michael Myers was like, got his ass kicked by just a nerd, and it was just stupid. It was really bad. I do not suggest anyone watch that movie. It's one of the worst movies. I can't tell. I might need to rewatch Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I need to decide which one's the worst movie from this year.
There was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie this year.
Yeah, it was bad. They released it in like June, which
What?
didn't make any sense. It's like if you're gonna release a horror movie, you gotta release it in like September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah, close to spooky season, but I don't know. That was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah.
So that was really disappointing. I was actually like I wasn't excited for it. I didn't expect it to be great, but I also didn't expect to be that bad.
That stinks.
I expect to be bad and like just stupid, and, like people getting murdered a lot, like entertaining, but it just wasn't entertaining.
Yeah.
It
Bad
died.
movies suck. It's really bad wasting your time and like not being interested by anything.
Well, it just really sucks when like you're expecting a movie to go a certain way. Like I love slashers, like even though they're bad, like I'll watch old slashers. The problem was it wasn't a slasher.
Hmm.
Like it just really wasn't. Like it wasn't like your typical. Like they tried to get too fancy with it.
Yeah, that
Unfortunately.
sucks.
But that's all I have.
Fair enough. All right. Let's make something happen here, Matt, in
I don't
Dynasty.
know. My teams are both perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
Your teams are both perfect.
Yeah, they're both incredible teams. Like I said, I'm leading scoring one team, and I'm on the rise. Yeah, keep team camaraderie. Holy shit, words are tough tonight.
Hmm.
No, I like my team. I don't have any old players. And I don't want to like. I'm not ready to like try and go all in yet, but I'm also don't have any old players I want to sell off. So I'm in a very weird spot right now. So I'm just hanging on to my
Yeah.
guys till I decide which direction my team needs to go. So
You are.
I think my oldest player is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's 26.
Debo's 26.
My tight ends don't really count because I don't really include them on my team.
Cortland Sutton's 27, but I see your point. Yeah, your team's in a better position than mine is, and I made it to the championship game last year.
Oh, you went all in last year. You made big trades and big moves, and then I trade away all my guys first year when everyone was kind of trying to. Because last year everyone was even, where everyone was like trying to win year one, and then I started out like 0-4, so I just traded my team.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a good position in the future where it's like I just got assets over assets over assets. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have your first next year. I have all my picks. I have Zach's second.
Yeah.
I have Skylar's third. I have Ian's first next year. Zach's second next year. Skylar's second next year. So I got a couple of years where I still have other people's picks as well that I can use for leverage. I think next year I'll probably go all in.
Yeah. I'd like my pick back, please.
I don't know if you have anyone that I really want for it.
It's going to be 101 too. So
Yeah. I'm probably not going to trade that. I'm going to get like 101 and like 104, 103. So
yeah.
That'd be cool. So I need you to keep losing. I need you to keep losing because I need.
Well, I will keep losing.
But you have no
If
motivation to lose, which is weird.
no, I know I don't have any motivation to lose, but I
You-
have to lose.
Your team's
Like
just not good enough to like win.
right.
You're like the Nets from a few like the old Brooke Lopez Nets.
Yeah.
Because
I
even
need I need I need to add me a D-Lo to this team. So
even Ian, where's Ian at? Yeah, I mean he's 2-3.
yeah, he beat me as well.
Yeah, he beat me. It's because I accidentally forgot to take out Kyle Pitts. It wasn't the only reason. I think he won by more than that, but
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get something together with Zeke, but it's not moving very quickly.
that was stupid. Last week I scored the second most points in the league, and I didn't start Kyle Pitts, but I lost to the guy that had the most points in the league.
Right.
So I had a good week. It was stupid.
I hear you.
Yeah, the week before I lost to ENC, my team just sucked ass. But no, I probably won't make any trades unless it really seems smart for me. I might want to start trading away my Broncos guys because I have a lot of them. So
Yeah, you do.
maybe I'll think about trading away a Bronco. Maybe I'll think about trading away Michael Carter because he's in a weird spot. I don't really know why the Jets drafted running backs like back-to-back years with like relatively high picks.
Yeah. 2 second-round guys.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might make some moves because I have some guys where it just doesn't make sense, but I have a ton of them. I guess I really only have Cortland Sutton
And
and
Jamal and
Javante.
what?
Yeah, but
Javante.
he's not like a receiver. For some reason, I thought I had another receiver on the Broncos. I guess
I want Javante from you.
no, he's good. He'll be good in like 2 years when he's healthy again.
Hmm.
They're ready to wheel and deal him.
Yeah.
But no,
We shall see
my
that.
team's looking up. I guess some old guys I'll think about doing, but you can't touch any of my young boys.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll keep looking.
Okay. Well, I will talk to you next week, pal.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Yeah, peace.
Bye.